Hey, I'm Kev Kim. Welcome back to rFactor 2. It's been a while, hasn't it? As in our favourite Toto Racing Series car, the FT-60. I think I judged that right, did I? Or was that a job start? I think we judged it right. She started 11th. Out of 16 competitors here around this revamped Zandvoort circuit. 4.3 kilometre, 2.7 mile long, 13 turn circuit. And so you've already gone through the new first sector, but that last corner of the banking, I quite like that last corner of the banking actually. Pretty different as well. It's all great tight. Oh, nowhere to go though. That's the problem around it. It's tight and twisty. It's hard to overtake from where we are. So we'll be lucky to get top 5 here. So we're against 105% level opponents, 50% damage multiplied, 30% aggression. Turn it down a touch for the opponents around it, just so we can all make it through to the end of the race, hopefully. So we're looking left and right to get into the top 10. But during this 10-lap race, we'll talk about Zandvoort. We'll talk about rFactor 2 as well, as I did promise a video with this car. I was going to talk about the graduates from the Tatuus Racing Series, you know, preview how they were going to do in their main seasons in Europe, all over the world, but COVID-19 happened, pandemic happened, so unfortunately this is what you get instead. I was going round New Zandvoort, a circuit which I'm pretty meh about anyway, Zandvoort. I'm not... Like, I love the Zandvoort from the 60s, 70s, early 80s, where it was fast and flowing through the dunes. But this circuit where it's, you know, much more compact, you know, forced to be more compact and tight and twisty. It's not the greatest challenge driving wise, like, I don't find it that much fun. And as you've already seen, it's difficult to battle around here as well, and I'm not sure the changes really help that, but the final corner's pretty fun with the banking, like that might help. But then you got the first section which I'm really not a fan of, like Tarzan, man. That first corner used to be my favourite corner around here. Like, it's this iconic corner for Zandvoort over the years, and to see that it's been modified and changed is disappointing. One of my favourite photographs from what I remember, I can't remember exactly, because I haven't seen it in many years, but it was louder again, I think against Hunt, through Tarzan. They're like wheel to wheel, side to side. I'll have to look it up after this. But yeah, fantastic corner, shows a great banking, like especially in the 70s where you had all of that grip from the tyres. Like, it's a brilliant corner to go around the outside of someone. But now, not so sure about this actually. It's wider, which is good. Should lead to better racing, as they're getting side by side in front. They've got nowhere to go though. Especially with the bank final corner, could help the racing, which is the main reason why they made the changes, but also safety as well. I think you mate, it's a bit tight round here. Like, if there wasn't Verstappen fever, I don't think everyone would even entertain being back here, but gotta take advantage of it when you can. And it is nice to see a circuit other than one built on a car park for $200 million or billion dollars to 10 people so they can view it. The country which has only got barely any, motorsport history as well. Like, I can understand expanding some of those markets, but some of the circuits from Tilke have been dreadful. So we were batting for a top 10, now we're falling back slightly. And a bit of a scruffy of that. Or 35. We want to get into the 33, 32s. I did a load 32 in practice, so that's definitely in our back pocket. The tyre should be nicely up the temperature now. As it go nicely sideways. But yeah, nice to see Zandvoort boy cans. With the modified F1 Canada, you might see quite a few classic European circuits around Canada. Like Imola being touted, Magello. Always fun on the bikes. We'll have to see what an F1 car does around there. I was a big fan of it when it was suggested early, like 8 years ago, ever, to be on the calendar as well. I wasn't sure about the racing. I mean, like almost every circuit with an F1 car, because it's F1. I don't really want to tackle ground effects properly. They just want to do these little band-aids and little changes. I don't want to actually change the philosophy, because then you're taking away some power away from all the, you know, technical designers, and no, you might actually save a lot of money as well. You want to save some money, not all of it though. And again, they could do have a budget cap coming in, which looks pretty tasty, which should hopefully help slightly safeguard the future of F1. But it is a manufacturer series once again, so who knows. Anyway, we talk about it another day, about F1 and about most mainline FIA series and their problems with getting entries and balancing the manufacturer interest with privateers as well. rFactor 2. Why are we back here? Well, it's got the virtual Le Mans 24-hour race at the moment while I'm recording this. It's been a fantastic event actually. Like, the presentation's been superb from the WEC. I can't fault them for that. There's only been one server restart so far. Hasn't crashed yet, which is very good. Yeah, we've seen some good racing, some good battling. And in general, it's been a very smooth event. You had some legends as well, like Mario Andretti, Jackie Hicks, Derek Bell, and McNish. Like, I can't emphasise it enough. It's probably been the best coverage I've seen for an esports event, even ahead of the Aussie Supercars. Like, they've really gone all out, WEC, to make this as professional as possible, and they've done a pretty superb job. They even got Freitas as well, stewarding over the radio, just like in real life. So yeah, hats off to WEC for what they've done, the virtual 24 hours. The only issue we got is whether rFactor 2 can actually keep up with that and not have a server crash like it did, I think it was last year actually, didn't it? When they're holding a 24-hour race and they had a server crash and they actually stopped the event, abandoned the event in the end. But since then, there have been online updates and stuff, and so it does look a bit more stable now, at least judging from this event. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we won't see a server crash. But that's one of the main problems with online rFactor. That's why some people are wondering why this isn't on iRacing, because as many issues iRacing has, and it's had some server issues over the years. I remember when I first did the Indy 500, all the servers like crashed. I think it was the first year of the DW12, so yeah, it took a long time to get into race sessions and get everything going. But in general now, in the last couple of years, iRacing's got better overall stability. There's still localized stability, of course, netcode, which is a big issue. But then, is that an iRacing issue or just internet issue in general? Because you've got people all over the world racing, all with different connections, and no, it's going to be hard to not level it out, but keep it like consistent, that connection. Like if you're like me racing in the UK, it's racing someone in Japan, for instance, like I don't think we have that global infrastructure yet for the internet where it would be like me racing someone else in the UK. It's always going to be high ping at the moment in comparison. So hey, when we get fusion power in the next 100 years, I'm sure everything will be alright. I'll just be sitting there racing for it. But yeah, that's one of the things with rFactor 2, maybe why it's not the best online experience, where it's got these connection issues, but in almost every game does. It's just a bit bigger with rFactor 2, especially in the endurance events. Hello, slide. Trying to catch up to this gang in front, but cost ourselves a couple of seconds there. Or a second. So it's not really an online game. What about single player? Well, you can see in this, the opponents do have some irregularities, but overall they are pretty damn good. As you've seen, we can battle with them. There is some short-sightedness still with like side to side. It feels like especially going into a corner, like they can just outbrake themselves and hit you. But then I do that all the time to everyone, so who am I to complain? So definitely for me, it's more of a single player game. Like the only really online I play in Sims anyway is like iRacing. Still haven't tried out Race Room, despite the multiplayer ranked servers. I need to try that out. Definitely excited to see what Ormurster 2 brings to online as well. Of course, there's Project Cars 3 coming, so there are quite a few games to look out for online. And then of course there's ACC, which GT3 actually, even though I'm not the biggest fan of GT3 cars, so I haven't really tried out ACC yet. So rFactor 2 maybe more single player, but what are you going to play in the single player? Because iRacing's got like everything. It's mostly got that infrastructure for NASCAR and the dirt ovals. So you've got the Aussie V8 cars, Aussie Supercars, sorry, no longer V8s, are they? And then they've got IMSA. They've got quite a few series, got Rallycross, so yeah, there's quite a lot of racing there. Racing. But one thing that's been lagging slightly in is endurance racing. Like it's added quite a few GT3s, GT4s now. But it's only an MP2 car, was released like a decade ago. It looks like they might be releasing a new one this year, that's the rumour, but I think they said it actually in the patch notes, they said they were going to try and release an MP2 car this year, but yeah, doesn't look like there's going to be an MP3 car within for another few years. They're not really interested in DPIs for some reason. I think it's just because of getting the contracts to get DPIs in the game might be too much for them, but no one really knows why. And you're seeing with rFactor 2, like they're going a bit like a Assetto Corsa, releasing DLC, like officially licensed DLC packs. Like with Formula E, especially got a great contract for me. I wish they released more tracks. So they released Berlin in New York recently. You had to try out, but yeah, previously I only had really Hong Kong and Monaco, annoyingly. I wish they had more. And then they've released like LMP3, LMP2, GTE, like Ferrari recently. Got Le Mans, GT3s as well. Quite a few GT3s. So yeah, maybe that is what rFactor 2 is. It's for that, and also for this type of racing for Junior Formula. Like they got a great little pack with Tatuus. That's how you say it. With a lot of their single seats for Junior Formula, like the F3, F4 cars. This FT-60. We've seen that it's finally going over to iRace with the US F-2000 and Indy Pro 2000 car now had in the latest update. But yeah, if you want more like the Formula single seater cars, rFactor 2 is where it is. It doesn't have the track selection maybe in general, especially with a set of courses taking over on the modding side and a bit of automobilist stuff. I know there's still some mods coming out for rFactor 2 of the workshop on Steam. Not as extensive, shall we say. It's a set of course, even though a set of course is not getting supported now by Kunos, the modders are definitely supporting it. And it looks like it's going to continue for many years to come, so yeah, maybe that is what rFactor 2 will be then. Druid's platform. But for me, it's this. It's single seaters, lower formula, and fun round official tracks. Some cars are pitting for some reason. We're going to finish in 7th in the end. We stole a couple of places there. I will take that. That was pretty decent racing, wasn't it? And then we kind of got the pace of the cars in front, but didn't quite have the pace to catch them. Oh god, they're going a bit crazy at the end. Everyone's crashing. So yeah, what is rFactor 2 to you then? Let me know down below. If it is more of an endurance sim, if it is more of a modding sim. Because rFactor had that down on not modding, but with a set of courses especially coming out and all over this, they've kind of taken rFactor 2's place. Definitely doesn't have the looks over set of course over this the 2. Project Cars 3, even iRacing, I think it looks much better than last year with all its updates. Still got some work to do with the day-night, but they're getting there. So some angles in rFactor looks good, but for some others it just doesn't quite work at the moment. I know they're working all the time on the shaders and stuff. Sure, 397, like every patch seems to be a little update. And they're working majorly on the shaders as well, like overhauling them, so I think it's the shaders. It might be lighting in general, so yeah, we'll see what they can improve in the rest of this year. Then excited to see what Shooter 397 do as we do another lap for a crowd here. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the return to rFactor 2 and to cars as well. It's been a while. I've been concentrating on TT Man 2 and MotoGP 20, but now that we're coming towards the end of TT Man 2, now that we've won, you know, the major TTs, we just need the Irish Championship and Junior TT to win. And with us reaching the MotoGP cars now, MotoGP 20, you might see more of the old car stuff me behind the wheel. And I also got to go back and finish like Ride 3 before Ride 4 comes out later this year. I think it still comes out later this year, and yeah, some other playthroughs still got to finish as well. But I hope you enjoyed rFactor 2. I definitely want to show some more rFactor 2, especially the Formula E content. I'm just rubbish at the Formula E car, unfortunately, so I've got to do some practice with it. But once I have, I'll show off. I definitely want to show off Berlin. Berlin's a great track. Definitely want to show that off. So that might be the next video coming from rFactor 2, but 4-wheel wise, definitely some iRacing with all the new cars. As I said, the US F-2000, Indy Pro 2000, 87 NASCARs and North Wilkesboro, and the BMW GT4 as well, so quite a lot of content coming. Last update from iRacing, definitely want to shut it off and race them online. I'll show you to you as well, with some cracking online racing as I normally do. Or not. But thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the pits next time.